we would really like to have this going on at the city hall because this is about the most economical way I have found so far to do all of this and to get the scanning process going. And otherwise, it just keeps piling up. So I've talked to Melanie. She's worked with this system before. We talked to Encode. All of us on staff, and including Paula, we've sat down and talked about it, and we feel like the recommendation is we would like to go to this content management program to be able to reduce our overabundance of papers. And we'd always have a record of it, whereas papers sometimes fade away after so long or get lost.
But don't you still have to keep most of the same documents? I mean, you're not actually getting rid of, you're going to be able to, you don't have to have them to refer to, but you can't actually destroy all that stuff.
Some of it you can't destroy under records retention. But the multiple stuff we have around is what's the problem.
So you feel like this would, a good amount of what you've got, you'd be able to, sorry, can you all hear me? So you feel like a good amount of what you have sort of piling up would be, you would then be able to eliminate because you have it digital. You wouldn't have to keep an extra, you wouldn't still have to keep the hard copy of most of it.
No, a lot of this we wouldn't have to keep a hard copy of.
Is that a budgeted item?
Sir?
That's a budgeted item?
Well, that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about. Part of it can come out of core technology. Part of it can come out of the water, and part of it could come out of administration. So we was going to bring that back at a later date, like mid-year when we do our budget.
Manager, no,
I'm thinking it'll be about 5,000 a department. Yes, sir. It's not budgeted. No, it's not budgeted.
I thought you said it was budgeted earlier.
No, it's not budgeted.
Okay.
It was a yes or no question, and his answer was well. So,
Yeah, my answer was well.
I've heard that one before.
Was that Dan?
he gave a politician answer.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Answer.
He's learning from his daddy Herman yet, so. It seems like a good, I think, to me, it seems like a good thing staff's, sought out and I think it's positive.
Yeah, I was pleased to see that the annual cost was as low as it was.
This is something we've been needing for some time for the city, because like Marvin said, I know the PD over there got paper on top of paper, and I'm sure the city does too. And to me, it's a reasonable cost and something we need to do.
Is that a motion?
I make that motion.
Second.
And,
Content management.
documentation suite.
Yes.
Content manager.
Second.
Technology, document storage. Marvin, is that the total of 13,939?
Yeah, for 1 year, but it's not that way afterwards.
So that's our first year call.
Our first year cost is $11,822. That's what it'll be.
Okay, so it's,
The other $21,17 will start until next year.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of the content document management suite and Tyler Content Manager, in the amount, of, you said $11,822 for the first year? Okay, is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move to item number 12, which is consider approval of contractual agreement with Allen Plummer and Associates to develop a water treatment plant evaluation plan in order to review and develop a capital improvement plan.
Mayor and council, tonight I'm part of a team that will be doing some presentations. The other two gentlemen are virtual. I have with us, Josh Wheeler, project engineer with Allen Plummer, and then I have our Chief Operator for the water plant, John Paul Jones. Gentlemen, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You know, we used to have a guy that would come to all these council meetings named John Paul Jones. But I haven't seen him in years. That can't be the same guy, can it? Go ahead, Woody. All right. That joke didn't go over well. John Paul, did you hear? Right here.
He lives in a hole down in the woods.
John Paul Jones, do you hear?
Watch the screen.
Yes, he is. John Paul. Oh, okay.
There he is.
Okay, so I'll start off the presentation.
hear you, Marvin.
We're on a 7-second delay, but.
Basically what's been happening down there as we are moving forward with our, projects here that you've already pre-planned, we decided that we needed to do some, planning, some history work. Many of you are aware that the plant was built in the 50s. When you build a plant, generally you build it for a 30 to 50 year stretch, in which we're, and then you, inside that 30 to 50 years, you know you're going to have to go in there at year 15 and there's some mechanical parts that you got to be upgraded. They just wear out. And that's what has happened here at the city of River Oaks, is when it was built in the 50s in 1993, they went in there and did an expansion on it for growth, and then also upgraded some parts, which then made it last. And then I made that presentation to you. I believe the engineer made it before I got here, of the clarifier. Well, since then, over the last 2 years, we've been working with Alan Plummer, Terrence Regional Water District, to determine what is happening with the raw water. And what we're experiencing is there's about 2 to 4 months out of the year. They can be sporadic. They can be 2 months together, and then another 2 months, or they can be the whole 4 months together, is that we're receiving high levels of manganese from the source water. And that's got a lot to do with the water quality and things in there. And so during the past 2 years, we've been talking with Alan Plummer, General Regional Water District. We've had several meetings with them. We've had meetings with chief water operators that are all upstream from us, what they do and what we needed to do there. And our results led us to have a meeting with the city manager to discuss about coming before you, because if we come before you with just the one need, then it seems redundant. Next year I stand before you with another huge need, and y'all charged my department to start doing some capital planning, some what is going to be faced 3 to 5 years. And what I'm asking here for, which is in our budget, is that Mr. Wheeler's team, an actual team, will come down and analyze and inspect for the whole plant, the processes, and give recommendations. Now, in the scope of work, basically, the scope is to review what's going to be needed the next 3 to 5 years, and then also to do a cost synopsis if we were to go directly with Fort Worth on a day basis, and also what if we scrap the whole plant and build another 30 to 50 year plant. And the reason why that seems phenomenal right now to say that in front of you, but when you start looking at these additions and things like that, I don't want to come before you and say I need $850,000 this year, $1 million next year, and then keep doing that for the next 5 years, and we actually could build a whole new plant for $4 million, $3 million. So I want them to provide you a capital plan that basically gives you 3 options and what that options were, what we can do, and these improvements that we can do to keep the thing running. We enjoy working at the plant, but the plant is old. There, like I say, in '93 there was a lot that was upgraded, but there's still motors down there that were there in the 50s, and if they